She is a black legend who broke all barriers. She became a living symbol of pride and burning talent in the history of American cinema. Cicely Tyson, a name that once resounded on big stages, marked with a series of prestigious awards and nominations for Oscars and Golden Globes. She became an endless source of inspiration for millions of people of color. But behind that brilliant halo is a life full of challenges and losses. A poor childhood in Harlem, tearful love affairs. More bitter is the harsh trade-off to protect the dignity of black artists in a prejudiced Hollywood. Cicely Tyson's story is not only a journey to conquer the top, but also an epic of determination, self-respect, and enduring strength. Are you ready to meet the black legend, Cicely Tyson? Cicely Tyson, when a childhood is shaped by poverty. On the crowded and bustling streets of East Harlem, New York on December 19, 1924, a baby girl, Cicely Tyson, was born. Her parents, Frederica and William Tyson, were immigrants from the small Caribbean island of Nevis. They came to America with the hope of a better life. But the family's American dream began at the bottom of poverty. The Tysons lived in a cramped apartment complex where light filtered through matchbox-sized windows. The only sound they heard was the sound of their neighbor's shoes echoing on the iron staircase. Her father was a carpenter and painter, and her mother worked as a maid for wealthy Manhattan families. Every penny of their meager wages was saved to support their 3 children. From a young age, Cicely knew the meaning of poverty. She wore her brother's old clothes and had to wear cardboard to school because of holes in her shoes. Every meal was the simplest, sometimes just bread and butter, or a plate of hot mashed potatoes. But her parents always taught her, you can be poor in money, but never poor in self-respect. Those words became a guiding principle throughout Cicely's life. At the age of 9, Cicely had to work harder than expected. She had to go out to the street to sell small items to support her family, from paper bags, needles, and thread to small items collected from flea markets. Instead of hanging out with her friends, the small girl with bright eyes often stood on the street corner, smiling and inviting customers to buy, to earn every penny. It seemed like her life would continue peacefully. But then, a family tragedy struck. At age 11, her parents separated. Cicely moved in with her mother in a more dilapidated apartment. But it was here that she learned the resilience of a woman who raised her children alone during the most difficult years of America, during the Great Depression. Despite her family's poverty, her mother kept Cicely in school and encouraged her to attend church. Every Sunday, she wore her simplest dress, but stood proudly in the choir at an Episcopal church in East Harlem. She sang her heart out. It was here that Cicely first discovered the power of her voice and expression, which would make her a legend on stage and screen. Cicely Tyson's childhood was one of both material deprivation and strength. This poverty-stricken environment gave her resilience, self-esteem, and the determination to break out of the vicious cycle of poverty. Later, the little red girl became one of Hollywood's greatest icons for elevating the image of women of color. Cicely Tyson's career, Hollywood superstar, who broke black stereotypes. Cicely Tyson entered the world of art through a fateful chance encounter. While working, she was photographed by an Ebony magazine photographer. Her elegant beauty and proud demeanor made her a new face in the fashion modeling world. But for Tyson, the spotlight is where her heart is. In 1956, at the age of 32, which Hollywood often considers too late to start, Cicely landed her first role in Carib Gold. It was a small part, but it made a real impression. 2 years later, she made her stage debut in Dark of the Moon at the YMCA in Harlem. Small parts followed in Odds Against Tomorrow and The Last Angry Man, 1959, and Who Was That Lady, 1960. For Cicely Tyson, the first obstacle to her artistic path did not come from Hollywood, but from the house she grew up in. In her memoir, Just As I Am, she recounted that when she expressed her dream of becoming an actress, her mother, a devout and strict woman of Nevis origin, was furious. She not only objected, but outright kicked her daughter out of the house, calling acting pure sin. Pushed away from her family, Tyson had to find shelter with friends and fend for herself. For nearly 2 years, she and her mother did not speak to each other. That distance was filled with sadness and stubbornness on both sides. However, the turning point came. One fateful day, Tyson's mother, out of curiosity and perhaps because she missed her son quietly, went to watch a performance. On stage under the bright lights, she saw her daughter completely transform into the character. She not only acted, but also shone with dignity and strength. That moment melted the mother's suspicions and prejudices. From being strongly opposed, she became proud and loved her daughter more. In 1961, Tyson made her television debut in the NBC series Frontiers of Faith. But her real breakthrough came in the early 1960s, when she was cast in the original cast of Jean Genet's masterpiece, The Blacks, alongside Maya Angelou and James Earl Jones. The play ran for a record 408 performances, the longest-running off-Broadway production of the decade. For Moon on a Rainbow Shawl, Tyson won the Vernon Rice Award, now the Drama Desk Award, in 1962, cementing her stage talent. Her breakthrough came in 1972 when Tyson played a strong-willed wife in Sounder. The role earned her an Oscar nomination, a Golden Globe nomination, and NSFC and NBR awards. Just 2 years later, she took the small screen by storm with the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, where she portrayed a woman who lived from slavery to the civil rights era. The role earned Tyson 2 Emmy Awards, cementing her place at the top of the film industry. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Tyson continued to choose meaningful projects. She starred in Roots 1977, for which she received her second Emmy nomination. She appeared in King 1978, The Marva Collins Story 1981, and Samaritan, The Mitch Snyder Story 1986. From the beginning of her career, she made it a rule to only accept roles that were dignified and that honored Black people. This cost her many lucrative opportunities, but it also helped her establish herself as a unique, irreplaceable artist. In the years since, Tyson has continued to reinvent herself. She appeared in Fried Green Tomatoes' The Help, and especially The Trip to Bountiful, a role that earned her a Tony Award in 2013 at the age of 88. Television audiences also remember her for How to Get Away with Murder, Fall from Grace, and horror film projects like The Haunting in Connecticut 2. Tyson's career has been marked by an honorary Oscar, 3 Emmys, a Tony, and countless other honors. She was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Barack Obama in 2016 and the Kennedy Center Honors in 2015. She has maintained a lifelong principle of only accepting roles that elevate the image of people of color. She has turned down dozens of easy scripts to defend the values she believes in. Cicely Tyson has turned her career into an artistic and social legacy. She is more than an actress. She is a symbol of dignity and determination. She is proof that acting can change the way the world sees a person, a community, and an era. From small roles on the Harlem stage to the most prestigious awards in cinema, Cicely Tyson not only made her mark with talent, but also built herself an impressive fortune. Cicely Tyson, the silver screen legend, and the fortune that makes Hollywood bow down, according to Celebrity Net Worth. Cicely Tyson is worth an estimated $10 million. Keep in mind that every penny Tyson earns is the result of decades of being selective about her roles, turning down countless scripts to protect her principles. So her fortune is not only a reflection of her financial success, but also a testament to the fact that good art can still bring wealth. She owns a luxurious penthouse in New York with a panoramic view of the sparkling Manhattan at night, and luxurious interiors designed in a classic and modern style. In addition, she also has a resort villa in California, where there is a lot of sunlight, flowers, and a quiet place for her to create and relax. What Hollywood respects about Tyson is not just her net worth, but how she built it. In an industry rife with temptation and scandal, she has chosen a path of steadfastness and integrity. She has made her money not by chasing after cheap roles, but by talent, careful selection, and loyalty to artistic principles. A significant portion of her fortune has been dedicated to community causes. Tyson funds scholarships, supports organizations that protect women's and children's rights, and arts programs for Black youth. Cicely Tyson School, a living legacy. In 2013, a special milestone was carved into history. The Cicely Tyson School of Performing and Fine Arts officially opened in East Orange, New Jersey. This is not only an educational project, but also a symbol of her lasting contributions in paving the way for the younger generation to pursue the arts. Tyson often personally visited the school, talked, hugged the students, and said, "Any dream can come true if you are persistent enough and dare to be true to yourself. Not stopping there. Tyson also shared her life story in the memoir, Just As I Am, published in 2021, just a few days before her death. The book not only tells the story of her glorious career, but also exposes the dark corners, losses, and the journey to overcome prejudice. Few people know that behind the bright stage lights and endless applause, Cicely Tyson had to go through silent losses and tearful pains, which until the end of her life were still imprinted in her memory. Cicely Tyson, love storms, and unending losses. First marriage, sad memories. I don't want to recall. Cicely Tyson first married Kenneth Franklin in December 1942 when she was 18. The marriage, she said in her memoir, Just As I Am, ended abruptly due to a lack of commitment and differences in thinking. Tyson has never said much about Franklin in public other than to confirm that they had a daughter. In her memoir, Just As I Am, Cicely Tyson wrote about her daughter not with cold words, but with a heart full of love and regret. She called her by the affectionate name Joan, and wrote a sentence that would make any mother choke up. My daughter was the one who has paid the greatest price for this gift to all. Signed, Love Mom. Despite her love for her daughter, she was forced to spend periods away from her because of her work. Tyson sent Joan to a boarding school far away, a decision she admits was hasty and heartbreaking. This was one of Tyson's biggest regrets. She missed out on her daughter's growing up moments, her birthdays, her tender hugs, all because she was too busy chasing film and stage projects. She continued in a gentle but poignant confession. I do mourn that my child, during the years she hungered to have me close, felt my absence so profoundly. Behind the proud roles, Cicely Tyson is still a mother, with a heart that bleeds for the years she missed, for the hugs she never gave, for the eyes her daughter used to look for her through unfamiliar walls. The mother-daughter relationship was once tense, and even though they later reconciled, the gap of those years could not be erased. Love with Miles Davis. Passion and storm. If Tyson's first marriage was a sad silence, his love affair with jazz legend Miles Davis was a passionate but stormy song. The two first met in the 1960s when Davis was already famous for his jazz records and Tyson was making waves in Hollywood. They quickly fell in love, but the relationship soon fell apart due to Davis's many affairs and his promiscuous lifestyle. However, fate brought them back together again in the late 1970s. They were one of the few black power couples of the time. Tyson once proudly said, Miles and I were among a handful of black power couples of the 60s. I felt proud to stand alongside Miles. In 1981, they married in a small private ceremony. For Tyson, this was the moment she believed Davis had changed, was ready for a stable life. But the reality was not as expected. Davis, despite his natural talent, quickly fell into darkness. It was drug addiction, extramarital affairs, and sudden anger. Tyson once admitted that she forgave Davis many times and tried to save him from the spiral of self-destruction. The conflict climaxed in 1987. Tyson accidentally found a piece of paper with the address of where Davis had met someone else. When confronted, he dodged. Tyson refused to be silenced. She recounted that moment with a tone that was both humorous and bitter. By the time he struggled free, I was holding a whole bushel of his weave in my right hand. That image, a woman clutching her husband's wig in her hand, is both tragicomic and painfully true. This love has been eroded by betrayal and distrust. The marriage eventually ended in divorce in 1989. She never spoke ill of Davis and even remained respectful of him after his death in 1991. But in her memoir, Tyson admitted, "It was a love that cost me my heart and my peace." Not only did Tyson lose her love and marriage, she also had to face a heartbreaking truth. She realized that she had become the last living member of her biological family. Loneliness and loss are endless. Her parents, who laid the foundation for her strength and dignity, had long since passed away. Her siblings, who had shared every bite of bread and every childhood story with her, had also passed away one by one. In the end, amidst the applause and praise, Tyson still stood alone in the quiet space, with no one left to call and ask after her return or hug her tightly. She never cried in public, but those close to her said that in quiet moments her eyes would droop as if searching for the family she had lost forever. It was a quiet but deep loneliness, a loss that gnawed at her silently even when she was shining in the spotlight. Tyson once said that she learned to accept all losses as a part of life. But the truth is, the loneliness of being the last one left is the deepest scar in the heart of a woman who once conquered the world, but in the end still had to return to herself. The price of perseverance. Throughout her career, Cicely Tyson was known for her unwavering principle. She would only accept roles that honored Black dignity. This meant she turned down dozens of scripts that could have brought in big paychecks but exploited stereotypical images of Black people as drug addicts and blaxploitation maids. Bakang Jin. We Black actresses have played so many prostitutes and drug addicts. I won't play that kind of characterless role anymore, even if I have to go back to starving. This choice earned her respect and established her as an upstanding artist. However, it also left her financially unstable at times. While many of her peers got rich quickly, Tyson had to endure periods without projects. "I would rather starve than betray myself," she once said. Those years were not only challenging professionally, but also put pressure on her personal relationships. Prioritizing her artistic principles sometimes alienated her from relatives who wanted her to take it easy and have a comfortable life. Despite being respected throughout Hollywood, Tyson has not always been free from controversy. Fighting the gossip and the law. In her memoir, Just As I Am, she recounted a small story that made the press curious at the time: the lawsuit with actress Elizabeth Taylor. The incident was not related to a love scandal or personal conflict, as is often seen in the entertainment industry. It stemmed from professional interests and honor. Tyson did not elaborate on the details of the lawsuit, but the fact that she included it in her memoir was enough to show that. For Tyson, protecting her name and interests was something she never took lightly, even when her opponent was a powerful star like Taylor. This reflects a little-known side of Tyson. Behind her soft exterior, she is extremely tough and willing to go to court to defend herself. In a Hollywood that is used to sweet talk to maintain relationships, Tyson chose a different path: integrity to the end. Glory mixed with loneliness, Cicely Tyson continued to be honored until the end of her life. In 2013, she won a Tony Award for Best Actress at the age of 88 for The Trip to Bountiful. In 2016, she was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama, America's highest civilian honor. In 2018, she became the first Black actress to receive an honorary Oscar, a historic milestone. However, these achievements came during a period when she lived quietly and almost completely away from the noisy lights of Hollywood. With no partner by her side, her daughter grown and living on her own, Tyson devoted most of her time to work, reading, and community projects. In an interview, when asked about her feelings about death, she calmly said, "I'm not scared of death. I don't know what it is. I'm not in a hurry to go either. I take it a day at a time." That answer is like a simple but profound philosophy of life. No fear, no avoidance, no expectation, just living each day to the fullest. But for those who have witnessed her sitting quietly alone after a performance, they know that this serenity is built from a lifetime of facing loss. Tyson never sought solace in all-night parties or crowded showbiz circles. She chose to stay in her own space where she could be herself without needing to transform or smile for the audience. It was a quiet life, but one filled with self-respect. Cicely Tyson, the proud Black legend, lived a meaningful life. But what must come, will come. Illness and end-of-life health. Cicely Tyson did not publicly disclose details of her illness in her later years. She largely chose to live a private life, keeping her distance from the noisy news of her personal life. History records that she was active until 2020, nearly reaching the age of 96. She continued to act in How to Get Away with Murder, A Fall from Grace, and the Cherish the Day series. Just 2 days before her death, she released her memoir, Just As I Am. On the afternoon of January 28, 2021, the entertainment world was shocked when Larry Thompson confirmed the sad news. He said, "I managed her career for more than 40 years, and every year was a privilege. She breathed her last at the age of 96, ending nearly 80 years of art from her days on Broadway in the 1950s to the big screen with Sounder Oscar nomination and a series of roles that changed the history of American television. It was not just a death, it was the end of an artistic saga, written with both dignity and determination. The news of her death immediately sent shockwaves across media platforms, with celebrities, leaders, and fans expressing their grief and respect. I was devastated. My heart was broken, Viola Davis said. She made me feel loved, seen, and appreciated. Oprah Winfrey choked up, her life is a perfect testament to greatness. Zendaya Viet, this one hurts. Today we honor and celebrate the life of one of the greatest to ever do it. Tyler Perry calling her the grandma. I never had. This one brought me to my knees. I will miss our long talks. Your laughter. Amanda Gorman. Tyson showed the world that the Black woman is more than a moment. We are legends, myths in our own right. Outside the entertainment world, former President Barack Obama sent his condolences. He wrote she was a giant on whose shoulders we stood. Kamala Harris and Bernice King also sent tributes calling her an elder, now an ancestor. From Rihanna, Regina King, Kerry Washington, to Shonda Rhimes, all have the same message. Cicely Tyson paved the way, broke barriers, and left the door wide open for the next generation. Not only celebrities, but also the Harlem community where she was born took to the streets to remember her. Elderly people, young people, and children stood on the sidewalks waving their hands and chanting Cicelys as if she were still alive among them. She is also honored in a special and lasting way in Harlem, with a street named after Cicely Tyson. This is not just a traffic sign, but a symbol of pride of the flesh and blood bond between a daughter and the land that created her. Tyson is honored as a neighborhood ambassador, a clear reflection of her love for Harlem. Cicely Tyson's story isn't over yet. Cicely Tyson, the woman who turned her life into a legacy, symbol of breaking color barriers in art. For more than 7 decades, Cicely Tyson was not only an outstanding actress, but also a pioneering fighter against racial and gender prejudice in Hollywood. In the 1960s and 1970s, when women of color were often forced into stereotypical roles, such as maids or criminals, Tyson dared to say no to scripts that distorted the image of Black people. She once declared, "If the role doesn't elevate Black women, I won't take it, even if I have to starve." She opened the door for future generations of Black actors. She proved that they could play good, complex, and deep characters just like anyone else. Fashion and beauty icons, when style is a statement. In 1962, Tyson appeared on television with natural cornrows, a moment that had never been seen before on American TV. The seemingly small act was a direct attack on long-held beauty standards. Women of color did not have to conform to white society's stereotypes to be considered beautiful. Since the 1960s, Tyson has been a familiar face in Ebony Jet and Vogue. She has collaborated with Black designers such as Bill Whitton and B. Michael, and always chose outfits that honored African culture. For Tyson, every public appearance is an opportunity to tell a story through her clothes. It could be an African-inspired dress, a hand-embroidered evening gown, or culturally significant accessories. All are meant to convey a message about the history, identity, and pride of Black women. Social and community activities, voice of dignity. Tyson once said, "If I were to accept a role that would hurt the dignity of Black women, I would be betraying everything I believe in." This choice cost her many job opportunities, but made her a symbol of steadfastness. For decades, Tyson has been a frequent speaker at schools, encouraging young people of color to pursue art and education. She believes that education and the arts are the keys to changing communities. Tyson is involved in fundraising for charities supporting shelters and scholarships, and is a mentor to many young actors, including Viola Davis. Davis has called Tyson her spiritual mother and a guiding light for her career. In East Orange, New Jersey, the Cicely L. Tyson Community School of Performing and Fine Arts provides an intensive arts education for students from elementary through high school. Hundreds of students graduate from here each year carrying her name with them, with pride. Cultural influence and global icon, timeless Tyson's name has transcended the United States. Museums like the Smithsonian NMAAHC honor her as a part of African American cultural history. Her image and story are displayed as a testament to the power of art in social change. When she passed away on January 28, 2021, global media reported on her death, and artists and politicians from all over sent tributes. A Google Doodle, a memorial service in Harlem, and thousands of social media posts turned the day into a day of honoring the legend. Cicely Tyson paved the way for future generations of Black actors to assert their identity, demand respect, and tell their own stories. She proved that standing firm in their work ethic can not only protect themselves, but also change an industry. Though she has passed from this world, Cicely Tyson lives on in every frame, every line, and in the proud eyes of women of color who take to the stage today. She left behind not only a treasure trove of roles, but also a standard. It is a standard of dignity, of perseverance, and of the belief that art can break down invisible walls. On the streets of Harlem, in the laughter of students at the school that bears her name, or in the emotional tears of audiences, watching Sounder or Jane Pittman rerun Cicely Tyson lives on. She lives as a beacon, as a reminder. Never let anyone define your worth, but yourself. Her story didn't end on January 28, 2021. It continues to be written every time a young actor dares to step up and say, "I can," because Cicely Tyson did.